Welcome to the Labour Force. I am Mugwena Maluleke. It's yet another D-Day for the marathon public sector wage negotiations. Government is today expected to table a new wage offer to unions after they formally rejected its last offer of a 1.5% increase a few weeks ago. Early last month, government finally relented on its long-standing position not to give public sector workers any salary increase and tabled a 1.5% offer plus a 978 rand monthly gratuity. After exhaustive consultation of their members, the majority of public sector unions have formally rejected the offer. But they've made a big compromise, drastically reducing their joint wage demand from 7% down to 2%. And they want the government to increase the monthly gratuity to 1,500 rand a month. The parties were scheduled to meet last weekend to hear government's response to the revised union demands, but the meeting was postponed to today, with government asking for more time to prepare its response. Meanwhile, the Public Servants Association, which pulled out of the talks much earlier on, has finished balloting its members regarding downing tools in the public service.
We have, in fact, concluded the balloting on the 20th of June, and we are currently analyzing the vote that has come through provincial votes and also departmental votes, so that we know exactly which provincial offices and which departments are saying yes. But we can confirm that the majority of those votes that received are saying yes, they want a strike.
But the union says it can't embark on a strike now while the country is in the grip of the current third wave of the COVID-19 pandemic.
We are well aware of the current regulations that prohibit gatherings, and our plan in terms of the strike is to visit the president at the union building. So we realize now that with the COVID regulations, it will be impossible to visit the president. Therefore, we are looking forward for the relaxation of the regulations to allow gatherings. And once that is done, we'll choose a very suitable date.
The PSA claims that some public sector unions that are still part of the negotiations with the government are considering pulling out of the talks and joining its planned strike action. Mugwena Maluleke, SABC News, Johannesburg. For more, I'm joined by the convener of COSATU Public Sector Unions, Mr. Mugwena Maluleke, who, of course, is no stranger to the show. Mr. Maluleke, it's a pleasure to have you back on the show. Welcome and good afternoon.
Sabona Baba Mutwa and good afternoon to your viewers at home, and thank you for the opportunity. We really appreciate it.
Now, it's a big move by yourselves as the majority of the unions in the public service to move from 7% down to 2%, which is much closer to the government offer, the last one that you've rejected, of 1.5%. Please tell us what informed this big move on your part.
Thank you very much for the opportunity indeed. Yes, when we met in the last round, when we were coming back from mandate-seeking processes, we then tabled a revised demand on the basis of the fact that the facilitation has been able to move the Department of Public Service and Administration and the entire government from a 0% to the offer that they have given us. And for that particular reason, therefore, we realized that the facilitation was working, and therefore we needed to put more pressure but also show the government that we are willing to engage, and therefore the government must also come to the party so that it abandons its stance on the 0% increase for the next 3 years, because as you check the budget, you'll realize that indeed there is no money that has been budgeted for the public service increases in the medium-term expenditure framework for the next 3 years as a cycle. And therefore, for that matter, we have been able to push them to that particular offer, and we're expecting them to revise that offer to meet our demands, as we are showing that in negotiation it's give and take, and then from time to time there will be that point where the demands are revised and the offers must also be revised so that we meet each other halfway.
Now, do you have any reason to believe that government will move again in today's meeting and try and meet your demand of 2%? Is there an indication that they've been busy preparing a revised offer for you?
We believe that they will be able to move. What I cannot confirm is whether they will move to the 2% and the 1,500 that we put on the table. But I can confirm that, yes, they will be able to put a revised offer. And whether that revised offer will be acceptable is going to depend on our leaders when we are reporting back to them as the negotiators after this particular day or tomorrow. So indeed, but I can assure you that we are working very, very hard to ensure that the government revise its offer, and they've done that on 2-3 occasions, and we are pushing as much as we can to ensure that the workers are able to see an increase in this year, because they didn't see any increase in 2020.
Now, of course, we all know that at the moment we are going through a very, very tough time with the third wave of COVID-19. How crucial is an amicable settlement in these marathon wage negotiations between yourself and the government, especially at this time?
Baba Motwa, it is very, very crucial that we make sure that we show leadership, both from the side of the unions as well as the side of government, to appreciate the fact that we are going through very, very rough time. People have lost jobs. And many of our members are really supporting many families that are working in the private sector who have really taken a cut, and some are no longer working because many of the companies and restaurants have not been able to reopen after the hard lockdown of 2020. And therefore, because we have taken a lot of responsibilities of public servants, it's just important that the government appreciate the work of the frontline workers, the essential services that we are rendering, and be able to appreciate the fact that we are able to provide the families and our people with services that we are supposed to. So it's very crucial, because any disruption in those particular services may have unintended consequences, because you would imagine if they don't avert the strike, and we're pushing that the government must realize that if they don't avert the strike, it means the people who are not well, who are sick, may not have services. And we are now faced with the high cases of COVID-19, and this is not the time really for the government to really disrespect and not appreciate the work that the public servants are doing.
Now, of course, there is the PSA. They are not a minor player in the public service. Of course, you represent the majority of the workers in the public service. Now, they are saying that in your caucus, you may not be as united as maybe you would like us to believe, that there are some unions who've indicated to them that they've got a mandate to pull out of the negotiations and join them outside in the strike that they are talking about. How united is your caucus at the moment?
Baba Motwa, it's not for me to answer for them. If they are sitting in our caucus, then it's fine. But look, unions are meeting and they are autonomous in nature. And when we engage because we respect each other. And that particular mutual respect is based on the fact that we are rendering essential and critical services. And therefore, it is important for us to always protect the wages and protect the rights of our members. That's very critical. And that's what unites us. However, if there's any other union that would feel that they are not satisfied with the process of the facilitation, they are always entitled to make that particular view known to us. And therefore, there's nothing we can do about it except that those who would believe that we want a solution will continue to be looking for a solution. When we fail in terms of conciliation or facilitate, we are not joining the PSA. That's the mistake that people are making. We will be declaring our own dispute, and our own dispute will run its course. And when it has run its course, we will then embark on an industrial action. We're not joining anybody. So no one is deciding for us when to join and not want to join and so forth. That is, that's very problematic. It's very mischievous to have those type of statements that people say you are joining us. We're joining them. How are we going to join them? Because our members are going to be balloted separately and they will decide on their own when we must go on strike. And so we're not joining them. We will not join them.
Well, Mr. Maluleke, on that note, we'll have to leave it. I thank you very much for your time, as always, and I wish you a good day ahead. Please do enjoy it, and they will be keeping an eye on these important negotiations as you approach the finish line. Well, that's how we leave it. Of course, we do wish you all a good day ahead as well. Up next, The Alternative Investor with Nastasia Arendse. Stay with us.